Hello friends, welcome back to the Selenium tutorials. In the previous session we had learned about a setting on the Selenium IDE called the record absolute URL. In this tutorial we would be learning another setting on the Selenium IDE called the start recording immediately on open. So let's start. I'll open the Selenium IDE. You could see on the right hand side corner of the Firefox browser. I click on that. My IDE has started. I go to options, again options. Now if you would see the last checkbox over here, start recording immediately on open, it has been unselected now. But what will happen when I select this option? So I am selecting this option and doing an OK. So to demonstrate that, I would close this IDE and restart it. So what happens when I restart? If you could see on the right hand side corner of the IDE, this red button, if I hover my mouse over there, it shows now recording. Click to stop recording. So which means the IDE is in a position to record the steps on the browser. So the IDE has by default picked up this setting because we had selected that option on the settings window, start recording immediately on open. So whenever that option is selected, I need not explicitly click on this red button to record the steps. The IDE would by default record all these steps. So I am not clicking this red button, I'll just start recording few steps. So what I'll do is I will hit the URL www.google.co.in. In the search box I would enter, for example, testing. Now I'll click on this Google search button. Now if I view my Selenium IDE, these steps have been recorded without the red button being pressed explicitly. The tool by default started recording because the option start recording immediately on open was selected on the settings window. So whenever that option is on, we need not explicitly click this red button to record. After launching the IDE would start recording directly. So what will happen when I deselect that option? So let's do that. Once again I go to options, again options. This time I deselect this option, click on OK. So once again I'll have to close the IDE and restart it. I do not save this test, I do not need it. Again I restart my IDE. Now if you could see the red button on the right hand corner of the IDE, it is appearing dark red, and if I hover my mouse over there, it shows click to record. Now if I want to record my steps, I have to explicitly click. Let's see without clicking what happens. If I do not click on this button and I hit a URL, same URL will hit www.google.co.in. Again I will type testing in this search box. Click on this Google search button. If I would see on the IDE, nothing has been recorded because we had not explicitly clicked on this red button, and that option start recording immediately on open was deselected on the options window. You could see this option has been deselected. So whenever this option is deselected, I need to explicitly click on this red button to start the recording. So now I'll click it and repeat the same steps. Again I go to www.google.co.in. I type testing, then I click on the Google search button. Now if I would see my Selenium IDE, these steps have been recorded. Now the difference is here, in this case I had to explicitly click on this red button. In the previous example, when that setting was on, when the start recording immediately on open was on, I did not click this red button. The IDE by default started recording. So this is the difference of selecting and deselecting this last option. I keep it up to you, like whatever you prefer you may select that option. What I do is, like, I unselect this option generally, and I explicitly click on this red button whenever I have to start my recording on the Selenium IDE. So guys, we have completed another important setting on the Selenium IDE. Thanks for joining. I would be making more tutorials on Selenium. Hope to see you soon.